morning. Today is Saturday, so we're going to do a how-to video for you. If you look at the stuff I have in front of me here, we're going to be making our own homemade butter today. So the things you're going to need for that is you're going to need some salt. We have pink Himalayan salt. You can get that at any bulk store or Meyer. We have our own grinder for that, but you can buy it. It comes in a grinder. You need an old-fashioned cheesecloth, or they call them flour sack towels. You can get these at Lehman's. A pack of 6 of them is going to cost you about $20. We got a bowl so we can strain our butter out, and we're gonna that'll eventually end up filled with buttermilk, which can be used for making biscuits. Lots of stuff. Me and Jack like to drink the stuff, so it's pretty good. We've got 2 quarts here of heavy whipping cream. We got this at Meyer's. They run usually about $4 a quart. It would be a whole lot cheaper if we had our own cow and could get our own milk and skim the cream off of it that way, make our own butter. But I live in the city right now, so I can't necessarily do that. And then we have this guy here. This is an old-fashioned butter churn. This was passed down from Mrs. Grandma, and it got passed on to her, and we've used it a couple times, and we actually really kind of like it. So what we're going to do here is we're going to pour both of these quarts in our butter churn. I'm going to start churning it, and then I'm going to give it to the little guy over here to work on, and then we're gonna strain it out, measure it, and let you know exactly how much 2 quarts of heavy whipping cream makes butter-wise. You can actually make butter with different herbs like rosemary and garlic, and you have a nice Thanksgiving butter for your rolls. You can add whatever herbs you want to it, and it really actually adds flavor to the butter. It's a lot better when you go to like Thanksgiving or something with your family and you've made your own butter and you say, yeah, this is homemade butter, and everybody loves it, and it just tastes better, in my opinion. We've done the whole homemade butter multiple times, and it is very tasty. Here I am throwing stuff everywhere. So then we just take the paddles here. By the way, you can buy one similar to this, not exactly like this, but similar to it on Lehman's. It costs about $180. It's still crank powered, and all we're going to do is just start turning the handle, and we'll come back at the different stages so that you can see what it does, where it starts to separate out, turns into whipped cream, turns into butter, and then we'll continue our video on when we straighten it out and actually make the butter. So we'll be back here shortly. Welcome back to Roarks ReTreaT. So we've been turning this crank for about an hour now. We are at a whipped cream stage. As you can see there, it looks like whipped cream. A little bit of sugar on there, and you'd actually have whipped cream. But right now it's just heavy whipping cream, or whipped cream, and it's not very tasty. So, like I said, we've been spinning this for about an hour now. Give or take 5-10 minutes to take a break. But we're going to keep turning this, and we'll turn it into butter for you, and we'll get back with you as soon as we do. Alright, this is Phil with Roarks ReTreaT again. We just got this turned into butter. We cut before at 52 minutes. It is 55 minutes now, and we have all butter. You see the yellow curds in there? That's all the butter. And the liquid is still buttermilk in there. You can't get any more butter out of it. It's just a milk. You can use it for making buttermilk biscuits. Like I said, me and him like to use it for drinking. Warm it up a little bit before you go to bed. It's a nice little treat. It helps you get to sleep. But what we're going to do now, we're going to take it out of here, strain it, in our cheesecloth. Add some salt to it, mix it all together, and Mitch will be doing that, but I'll take over the video camera so that we can show that process. And then we're going to weigh it for you, tell you exactly how much butter we have, and yeah, we'll be right back.
I'm Mish with Roarks ReTreaT. I'm going to show you how to finish up your butter. These things stick on here really tight, so after grinding on it for so long. As you're turning, you'll notice that it gets stuff stuck up here, so you'll want to grab a spatula and just scrape the sides down. And Jack's going to help me here. Push your sleeves up there, bud. Okay. Now I want you to hold this bowl right here like this.
Alright. Like that?
Yep, don't let it fall.
Okay.
Now, my grandma used this spatula to kind of scoop out the butter and help her get it all out of the jar. That's why it's flat on one edge. And you're going to get messy. There's nothing you can do about it.
Maybe we should have got a bigger bowl.
Now it'll hold the buttermilk. That's all it's got to do. Okay, so once you get all your butter and your buttermilk scraped out of there, set this aside to wash later. Okay. Now what you do is you pull your cheesecloth or your towel together. And you just start squeezing the buttermilk out of your butter. And you'll want to get it pretty squeezed out because you don't want it to sit in that buttermilk later. I like to do this around the time we make cookies at Christmas because buttermilk is great for sugar cookies. So just set your buttermilk aside. You can put it in the refrigerator and it's good for about a week if you put it in a sealed jar. Now I use a plastic mat. This is just a silicone cloth that I got. I use it, unwind it, try to get as much butter off your cheesecloth as possible. Because you'll have little bits of butter everywhere. And I always put dish soap on my cheesecloth when I'm done so that it helps get the grease out of my cheesecloth for later use, so I wash it. Okay. Now there's your butter. Okay, you can use it like this. This is unsalted butter. But what we always do is we always salt it with, we usually use pink Himalayan salt. So you take your salt and you want a relatively fine grind on it. It doesn't take a whole lot of salt. I'm going to have to clean that later. Be careful because I just got butter in the top of my salt thing. And then you literally just fold it in. And that's just why I use a rubber mat for this. Or a silicone mat. And it's squishy. Jack, you want to grab that salt thing and put a little bit more salt in it? You'll feel it. The texture kind of changes when you get enough salt in it. Don't be afraid to take a pinch of it and taste it. Just a little more salt in there. Okay. You can use sea salt or pink Himalayan salt or iodized table salt. It doesn't matter. As Phil was saying earlier, you can use herbs, different kinds of herbs. You can make a lavender butter. Once you're sure it's all mixed in good, you don't want any little clumps of salt because it tastes absolutely terrible if you get a clump of salt in your mouth. Just kind of take a little pinch of it and taste it. And that's a good amount of salt. So then you just scrape it up off your thing, put it in your container. I'm actually going to put it in my scale bowl. Jack, hand me that blue bowl. I'm going to put it in my scale bowl so that we can see how much butter 2 quarts actually mean. But as you can see, there's still a little bit of buttermilk coming out of it. But that little bit won't hurt anything. Make sure you scrape off your mat real good, because look how much butter that was. It was still a whole pat of butter there. What did we end up with? We ended up with 1 pound, 12 ounces, almost 2 pounds of butter with 2 quarts of heavy whipping cream. Thank you very much for joining us in making butter today. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like the video if you enjoyed it. You can always subscribe to our YouTube channel to get updates every time we post a new video. Thank you for joining us here at Roarks ReTreaT. Happy homesteading.